What can I do about that tonight? I'm sorry.
You can't swing your computer around a little bit.
No, because I have the window on the other side.
Okay, perfect.
Any better? Is that better?
Yes, better.
Not a whole lot, but I will do it. I can do what I can.
Hey.
Okay. So, Doug, do you have any announcements and stuff? Or?
We do have a Memorial Day picnic. Any of your people can come if they want to. That's totally up to you guys. We're doing it in Monument, so that makes it a little bit closer for your Denver people. We will be using, at least we're going to start with, everybody needs to have a mask, and we're going to be in lawn chairs. We are not under the pavilion. We will basically have a grill going for those that want to barbecue anything. But instead of sharing food, we're going to basically say, bring whatever you would like to eat, and we can still grill if you'd like to grill some stuff. We will be having water and lemonade and cups and, forks, spoons, and knives for everybody. Not as many. We're not going to have as many. We're probably not going to be setting up volleyball just because of location-wise, and I don't want issues with the police and the El Paso County Sheriff Department, which covers this area.
Are you going to have a barbecue going?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll probably have a camping trip available to everybody that's interested. Again, that can have, 6 feet spacing, particularly with that. So we're going to be setting up in that arrangement. And that's probably going to be about mid-June. Let's just see how the weather is, if it stabilizes and stays nice. That's it for right now. So what do you think, Janie, for your group? Would they be interested or?
I don't know. It just depends on what Denver does. I think everybody up there is just kind of going on what Denver decides. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you're social distancing in a park and outside, you don't probably need a mask. That's just my personal opinion. We haven't been wearing them most of the time unless we go into like the grocery store. We do out of respect for other people, but we're not. We have to work. They're making us have to work.
All right.
Okay.
Well, if you want to open up in prayer and get us going, we'll get this set up.
Sure. Let's do it. All right, I'll pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you that we can all be gathered here, even by the internet. What a great way to be able to stay in touch during this time. And Lord Jesus, we just ask you to be with those that can't be with us. We ask you to be with those that are with us. And Lord, that you would just meet them where they are and that you would just bless them in abundance. Father God, I just pray that you would speak truth from me, anoint my lips with your words. And Father God, just we ask that you be glorified by what we talk about tonight. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, I'm tired of talking about loneliness and what's everybody doing during COVID, because I really believe that we've all been there, we've done that, we've been dealing with that, and so tonight I'm going to talk about dating. Are you guys excited? And nobody says anything. I hate when that happens. No, I'm kidding.
Give a definition of it.
There we go. So I am going to ask, Doug, go ahead and unmute everybody, because I'm going to ask what dating advice you have all received over the last few years from other Christians. What are some dating advice you have received? Anybody?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That is not what Christian people say. Okay. What else?
Have sex.
What was that?
Don't have sex.
Okay. What else?
Come on.
Anybody? Okay, maybe you heard it 10 years ago. What's the dating advice you've heard in the past?
Yeah, that's better to broaden that one.
Absolutely. Anybody? Nobody's giving you guys dating advice?
Well, the people that haven't been dating for years and have just started to get involved in this concept of even thinking about it, it's a lot more of how do you do this? What's what? What's up? What's down? What's left? What's right? They don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we are going to talk a little bit about that tonight. But I'm going to do this very general. So, I can get pretty in depth, and if anybody has questions, just raise your hand, and maybe Doug, you can unmute them. Other than that, I've made a list of some advice that people give out all the time. Some good, some I've given. Some maybe not so good. So this is what advice I have heard over the years. Date for at least a year. Don't date for any more than a year. Date exclusively in groups. I am all about group dating, but not exclusively. Make sure you get plenty of time one-on-one. Don't kiss before you're married. Personally, I think that would be impossible, but I'm sure people have done it. How can you know you have chemistry without kissing? Put clear boundaries into place. Don't try to follow everyone else's rules. Spend lots of time together. Be careful how much time you spend together. Date a bunch of people before getting serious. Don't date anyone until you're ready to marry them. That would be my advice. I could go on, and if you're a part of almost any kind of Christian community, you probably could name a few too, now that I gave you some samples. But even though we're following Jesus and reading the same Bible and aiming for the same covenant of a marriage or dating, advice will be surprisingly wide and diverse. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, and a billion different dating tips. So the first rule in dating, and I feel this is the most important, is it's probably the most important in all life too. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. That's from Mark 12:30. You will not truly love anyone else if you do not love God first and most. And no one will truly love you if they do not know God more than they love you. What was that? Was that somebody trying to say something? No? Okay.
Everybody was muted, so nobody could have said anything.
Okay, if they raise their hand, yell it out, because I'm not watching everybody. I'm kind of reading my notes and paying attention to what I'm saying here. So just let me know if you have a question. The first step in dating should always be the step of faith we take toward our Lord. He captures our heart, and we find our deepest joy in the Lord. So we hide our soul in Him and stop trying to save or prove ourselves. We devote our minds in knowing Him more and more and plead with Him to confirm our mind and will to His. We put all our strength into His goal and plan for our life to make disciples who love Him and with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. You see, if our heart is not there, if our soul is not already safe through faith, if our mind is distracted and focused on other lesser things, if our best strength is being spent on the things of this world, whether it be jobs, sports, shopping, entertainment, relationships, and not on God, we simply will not date well. So, do you want to date and marry well? Anybody? If you have that opportunity again, would you want to do it well? Debbie.
Everybody is unmuted.
Yeah.
Okay, Debbie, go ahead.
I just say it, of course.
Of course. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Want to do it well?
Of course.
What have been your obstacles of not doing it well so far? Anybody?
I think we have to be careful to not be too needy.
Yes.
Once you get a relationship, maybe there's a spark there, it's kind of hard to hold back. But keeping in mind that, sometimes our own fears can be really rampant, and we can end up making some mistakes if we get too, needy and just not listening to our own hearts, listening to red flags and all that stuff.
Well, plus if we're needy, we usually get somebody who wants to fix us. And that's not a good combination either. Or we want to fix somebody else, so we pick somebody who's needy.
Yes.
And that's not a good combination, yeah. Anybody else?
Follow the Lord look to the side, and if someone is walking the same direction as you at the same pace, then think about it.
I love
If
it.
not, keep
Tommy
walking.
Nelson says that. Tommy Nelson says that. I love that. Yeah, if you find somebody, you just start running. If they run and keep up with you, that's the one to look at. That's for sure. So seek him first, Matthew 6:33, and dating will be added according to his perfect plan and timing. So the golden rule in dating, but after embracing and applying the first and greatest commandment, I have found that the golden rule in dating is this: lean hard on the people who know you best, love you most, and will tell you when you're wrong. This is probably the hardest one for us to listen to or ask because we get all Twitter-pated. I love that word because I always think of Bambi, the movie Bambi, and it was spring, and Thumper, they're all Twitter-pated, if you can remember all that. And everything is butterflies and roses, right? And that's what it feels like when you first meet someone and kind of have this great connection. It feels really good. However, most of the time that doesn't last for very long. Not that it's not a good thing or not a good relationship. It's just that the Twitter-pated stuff doesn't last forever. So you need to really learn to rely on the people you know. And for those of you sitting here tonight and you know people dating, you need to be honest. And a lot of times we don't want to do that because we don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to tell them, I'm not too sure about this gal. I mean, I've seen her have a lot of relationships, or this guy, he's not very, very nice to women outside of his relationship with you. People really need to be able to be honest, and I would encourage all of you to do that. And it's a scary thing because we do lose friends over that, but I would rather tell the truth than have somebody who gets in a bad relationship. So it's not the first rule because, like in absolutely every area of life, every decision, every calling, every relationship, every dream, we must start with what we think and feel about God. Do we love him more than anything? Ask yourself that. Do I love God more than anything? Will we obey him even when it will cost us? Are we willing to set anything aside for his sake? Will we trust him even when we want something else for ourselves? Somebody going to say something? Okay, sorry. It's not the first rule, but I found that it is the golden rule that most often makes the difference between healthy and unhealthy Christian dating. If you're not a Christian and you haven't dealt with God before trying to date, you don't have a chance of having a truly healthy Christian relationship with someone else. But even if you are a Christian, there's still 1,000 more ways to subtly or blatantly reject God's wisdom and fall into sin. The key will be to lean on other Christians, other believers who know you best, love you most, and have a proven record of telling you when you're making a mistake or wandering away from God and his will for you. Now, I've done a lot of accountability for a lot of ladies. It's a few guys, but mostly women. And I have to tell you, when it comes down to this, they don't always want to hear the truth. And it's hard for me to watch them. For instance, I was doing an accountability with a young lady who, she says, I want to live for God. I want to do everything right. And I'm like, okay. And I was her accountability partner. And I had her mentor, and she met somebody who was taking great advantage of her, and she'd end up sleeping with him. And so I told her, I said, if you want to live this Christian life, you can't keep ending up in bed with this guy that you don't even really care about. And a lot of people have been there. A lot of people have made mistakes in the past, or maybe even making them now. But if you want a good, healthy relationship, you got to quit doing that. So I was holding her accountable. She finally broke it off with him and was moving on, met someone else, and he was 20 years younger. And he was wonderful. And he wasn't even divorced yet. And I said, boy, I just don't think this is the right thing for you. And I will tell you, they have moved in together, and she no longer talks to me because I was trying to tell her the truth. Now, Do I think they're compatible? I think they're both really lovely people. And I think they probably could be very compatible. But I don't believe that they have taken the right steps and the right timing to make their relationship successful. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't project the future, nor do I want to. But what I can tell you is I've seen this over and over again, and it normally doesn't end well. Some people have had a lot of luck and don't know each other very well and jump into a relationship and it's lasted for 30 years. I mean, I am not the determining factor of how to have a great relationship. But if you want to have a good relationship and have a Christian relationship, you need to be able to listen to the people that care about you most and do it the way God would want you to do it. Does anybody have any comments at this point? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I gotta turn Rick's off.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of times when we, just like your story, Janie, that when we get involved with somebody, then we kind of pull into ourselves and we want to be in control of everything. And so we start hiding from people that know us the best. And, and we don't always want to, I'm just saying we, oftentimes a person is wanting to live their own life and not be called back because you want to do your own thing. But when you're talking about at the very beginning, to love the Lord before anything else. So if we go in with that, then we're going to keep our lives open and not have secrets from anyone.
Right.
Because then your relationship with God can grow.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else?
Hey, Janie.
Yes.
Rick. So one of the best things ever is exclusivity. Okay, only having one other person in your life, in that kind of relationship. If you're going to live with somebody before marriage, what makes you think that the other person is not willing to live alone after the marriage?
Well, I agree. And if you're going to live by God, you wouldn't be living with somebody unless you were married, because that's what he calls us to do. So if you're willing to make those steps, what other steps are you willing to sacrifice in a relationship? See, I truly believe if you're committed to God, I'm going to trust you to be committed to me. I truly believe if you're a committed believer, and we all make mistakes. I'm not saying perfection. I'm saying if you're committed, the likeliness of you to try and work something out with me, if there's a problem, is probably a higher percentage than someone who's not committed on that level. And I say that because, I look at, some of the mistakes I've made in my life. And my first husband, I met him and 3 weeks later we lived together. Dumb. I can tell you a lot of dumb things about that. We had 2 beautiful children and a lot of good came out of that because God allowed it. But I was not healthy. He was not healthy. And that's where we were. I went through a lot of counseling. I went through a lot of things to raise me up and become an adult, even after I was an adult, if you guys don't understand what I mean. But I look back on that and think, even in that process of growing and learning about the Lord and maturing in my faith, I made a lot of mistakes, but it was a process. So I will never judge anybody who is in a process if they are working toward what God wants them to. So here, and that's why I say with accountability, you want someone who you can trust to tell you truth. My accountability partners were older women who have been there, done that, and now I'm the older woman, so apparently I'm now the one they think to, I guess. But more so than that, my peers, you guys, can come to me. And I would be honest with you. I have a gentleman in my Tuesday group, nicest guy. He's giving, he's thoughtful, he loves the Lord, but he has a pretty bad picker. And I always tell him, you got a bad picker, you got to fix that. Because he always tends to pick women who want his money. They always need something. They need to pay a bill. They need him to pay this. Oh my gosh, my sick father needs help. Can you help me? And Now, guess what? He's kind of in need, and where is everybody? They've all disappeared because they've drained him of his savings and his money. Now, is that his fault? Yes, it really is. I mean, he should know better than that as a believer, but he's desperate. He's lonely. He wants to find a mate, and he keeps thinking, if I help them, if I provide for them, they'll fall in love with me and make me happy. And that's just not the way it works. So those are just a couple examples. I'm sure you guys could give a lot more, so I'm going to let you guys chime in if you'd like on some things you've seen that was hard for you to watch somebody do. Anybody?
Just a sideline comment. Nowhere in the Bible does it equate marriage and happiness together.
That's true, Scott. That's true. Although I think you need to be happy if you're remarried.
Well, yes, I know. I'm having fun with it more than anything else, but
Yeah, you are.
it's a fun fact.
That's right. Rick, you were saying something?
Yeah, what you were describing a little bit ago is codependency. And,
Yes.
and you kind of have to be okay with yourself because you can be okay with others.
Well, you can be accepting of other people, but that doesn't mean you're a rug for someone to walk on, right? You want to be careful of that. And I only bring that up because I think a lot of times as Christians, we're taught to not be angry. Wrong, we can be righteous, we can have righteous anger, but we're taught that we should kind of accept what everybody is at. And I don't think that's always true. I think when you meet somebody, you need to bring out the best in them, and they should bring out the best in you. You can be two really, really great people and be horrible for each other. So those are just some things that I observe and I look at. If people are, I mean, Rick, I appreciate that, the codependency comment, because I was so codependent way back when, and I had to learn how to not do that. But I think a lot of people have lived this life and they think they're okay. It's always the other person. And really, if we really do a self-inventory and really check ourselves, I think we'd all be surprised at how much we all have still to work on. I still have things to work on today because I'm human and I live in the fallen world. And so I'm not perfect. I know you guys think that. No, I'm kidding. I know you don't think that. But I'm not. And none of you are perfect. And anybody who comes into our life are not going to be perfect. So what we have to do is find somebody we can bring out the best in, and they bring out the best in us. And then those imperfect things should help each other balance out a little bit. Any comments? Okay. No more comments. All right, so the third wheel is all we need. Today, more than ever, we're faced with a never-ending buffet of options and advice that has something to say about everything and yet lets us choose the answer we want. So how far should we go physically before marriage? How soon should I start dating after a breakup? What things should I be looking for in a guy or a gal? What are girls looking for in a guy? What are guys looking for in a gal? Should couples live together before getting married? We won't have trouble finding an answer or dozens of answers to any of our questions in relationships. The scary reality is that we can find an answer somewhere to justify what we want to do, right or wrong, safe or unsafe, wise or unwise. You see, the advice we choose might be from a book, by a doctor, or a random conversation with someone at church, or a blog post by a teenager, or just something we found on Pinterest. Who knows? For many of us, if we're honest, it really doesn't matter who's offering the advice, as long as it confirms what we thought or we wanted in the first place. We think we're leaning on others as we wade into all of the material online, but we're often just surrendering to our own cravings and our own ignorance. We leave the safety of the doctor's office and we choose the freedom and ease of the gas station convenience store. Instead of getting the qualified perspective and direction we desperately need from people around us. We walk away eating a candy bar for dinner, again, and washing it down with a Dr. Pepper. I wouldn't. I hate Dr. Pepper, just so you all know. Take note of that, please. Real friendship with real life on life accountability may not offer the same amount of information or advice, and you will not always like what it has to say, but it will bring one new critical dimension into your dating relationships. It knows you, your strengths, your weaknesses, your successes and failures, your unique needs. These people know you as a sinner, and sinners who are never being confronted or frustrated by inconvenient truths are sinners drifting further from God, not towards Him. So the truth is that we all need a third wheel in life, and in dating, people who truly know us and love us, and who want what's best for us, even when it's not what we want in the moment. So what are the voices that we need most? Dating often isolates us from other Christians in our lives. The closer we become with a boyfriend or girlfriend, or the more removed we are from the important relationships, Satan loves this. He encourages it at every turn. How many of you know people that started dating and you just haven't seen them for a while? Anybody? I know lots of them. Yeah. Yeah, well, give me some examples. You don't tell names, don't give names, but some examples of what you've seen. Doug, you've probably seen a little bit of that in the group, right?
Yeah. Repeat it again because I was busy trying to unmute everybody. Just say the question again.
No, I was just saying, how many examples could you share when people start dating, you never see them again? They start dating and they go away. One of the things I say in Tuesday group is, if you're dating, bring them. Bring them to the group. That's the best place to learn relationship information, right? Bring them to the group and learn together. Some of the best marriages that have come out of the group on Tuesdays has been because people come together and they share and they talk about it and they express the struggles they have. It's awesome. It's a great conversation maker, too, for relationships. What are your examples? Have you seen a lot of people leaving? Anybody?
I don't want to go down that it's just one. Let's just say this much. I see it more in women than guys, but it happens in both. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's a jealousy issue. I don't want you going to a singles group. I had a person in the past that it was like, okay, I want to start going to all these couple events. You know, as soon as they started dating, it was like, let's go do all these couple things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the right idea here. You know.
Anybody else? Any examples?
I've had it the other way where they've stuck around even after they got married and wanted to still come for a little bit because they were very familiar with the people in the group and they weren't quite ready to be fully transformed in the couples world. So
I have a lot of married people that come back off and on just because they missed the group. But they've made true connections. Those are their friends and they made true connections. And personally, I like it because as a single for 25 years raising my kids, I remember making valuable friendships and then get married. And even though we still stay in touch here and there, they went away. And I felt like I lost friends because they went and got married or whatever. And that was hurtful. I realized friends come into our lives for a season and a reason. But there's some really good people that, I hung out with that they started dating and got married and I never saw them again. And that's hard. That was hard for me as a single. So I personally like when they start dating and hang out a little bit because it allows us to continue our relationship and friendship. And then when the partner is into that makes it even stronger. So, and I've stayed friends with a lot of people that have gotten married out of the singles group, which is really cool. So anybody else have anything they want to comment on that?
A lot of couples in the past that you would see them for a while, then all of a sudden they're dating, they're gone, and then all of a sudden you see them back again individually or whatever, and it's basically going, okay, I'm available again, I'm back here, Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to say I struggle with that, but I sometimes struggle with that as a leader because they only come to you when they're looking for someone instead of coming to learn about the Lord or what the group is for. And not to say they shouldn't meet somebody, because I've had a lot of marriages come out of the group on Tuesday, and I'm not sure about yours, but I know for mine, I've had a lot of marriages come out, and they've been really strong, great marriages. I've also seen people meet, get married, and it was disaster from the making. And I've seen the people come and pick up on each other and have their little hookups, and then they never come back. I mean, it's just, I've seen it all with singles, and that's what I said. What kind of relationship do you want? You've got to know what you want so you can get what you want. And this is where I challenge you, and maybe the next time I teach and I'm in person, we'll do a little exercise I do, but you got to know what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you're just going to settle for whatever comes your way. So know what you want. I think that's really important too. So fight the impulse to date in a corner by yourselves, and instead draw one another into those important relationships. Double down on family and friends with affection, intentionally, and with good communication while you're dating. I had mentioned a little bit about the group dating thing when I first started, and I don't think that should be exclusive, but I think before you date anybody, you need to be group dating. And let me explain that so I'm understood correctly. You have all these activities through the singles group. Let's just say you meet somebody there, or maybe you meet somebody outside of the group and you're kind of interested in them. What better way to introduce them to the people that you trust or you value their friendship is by bringing them to events. Because here's what it does. You can see how they respond to people you care about. You can see what they act like when they're themselves. It's not a date. You just invite them to come. You get to see what they are like. I love going to lunch with people and watch what they do. How do they treat the waitress or the waiter? How do they respond to the hostess if there's a wait? It's really important to find out what they're like in their normal day-to-day life, because we can all sugarcoat it when we're on a date. We can all make ourselves look really good on the date. And then we start dating and we still look pretty good, and a few months down the road, what happens? And things start coming up that you didn't expect. It's like, man, I never saw that coming. So group dating is very valuable if you utilize it. Just a minute, Debbie, and I'll catch you, okay? It's very valuable if you utilize it to really get to know someone and get them to know you and your friends. And then you do it in the name of, gosh, if it doesn't work out between you, it's somebody else added to the group, and they might find somebody there that they're compatible with. But I'm telling you, it's such a great way to not get yourself involved too soon without kind of figuring out who they are. Debbie, go ahead. There you go.
Just thinking of kind of the flags and stuff like that, and kind of like what you were talking about. One time I was dating a guy and we were in his car and his car was having problems. And I'm always on the lookout to see if guys are angry or something like that. I remember when the car was having all kinds of problems, he put his hand on the dashboard and started talking to his car really nice. And I thought, that was so cool. I don't know if you guys get that, but I thought instead of him cussing his car out, he talked to his car and kind of babied it around. And it was like a very good experience.
Good. Anybody else? Any comments? No? You guys got to talk to me more. I really like talking. Okay. So the people willing to actually hold me accountable in dating have been my best friends. When I met Mike, I thought, well, you've probably heard the story. I wasn't too sure what to think of him because I really enjoyed him, but I was kind of afraid that I was enjoying his company so much. And he met Sherry, and he met a few other ladies that were in my life. And I say Sherry because I think a few of you have met her. And I said, I really want you to watch him. I want you to tell me what you think. And then in a few weeks, I gave her my list. This was my list of what I wanted. And she's like, oh my gosh, he matches your list. Now, he wasn't a 10 on every single thing I put down, but he matched my list. And I was so relieved to know that God had brought somebody into my life that for me was perfect for me. Is he perfect? No. Am I perfect? No, but we're perfect for each other. And I think that's where the friendships came in. They were really watching, what he was like. How did he look at me? How did he look at me when I wasn't watching? Does that make sense? And it was very powerful. It was really a great experience for me. So I pray that you guys all get that experience if you meet somebody. I really do. Any comments? Okay. Most of the time, go ahead. Was that something you need? Okay. So most of the time, people would hold me accountable as well. And when I didn't like what they were saying, I really had to step back and say, wait a minute. I asked them for their honest opinion. And if they're telling me no, 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 I need to really listen. Wasn't always easy. Sometimes it would take me a little longer to say no, but I eventually would get there. So for those of you who may have somebody telling you no about something, and it doesn't have to just be dating, but anything that you're being held accountable for, just remember, you need to respect the prize, or respect and prize the most. Excuse me, I'm running out of breath. The people who ask me the tough questions and the hard questions, often unwanted but wise comments and counsel, are the friends that I respect and that I prize the most in my life even today, because they are so honest and truthful. They step in when I'm spending too much time. Sometimes we spend too much time with even just a gal friend or a guy friend, and we start having these thoughts of guy-gal relationships, maybe this could work out. And they would reassure me, this is just a friendship. You guys have already determined that. Don't start daydreaming, it could be more. Or they might say, have you guys ever considered, right? That happens a lot too. Or if I'm hanging out with the wrong kind of gal friend and I spend too much time and I'm kind of walking away from the Lord a little bit, I've had people in my life say, hey, if you want to be a godly woman, you got to start, hanging out with people who are a little more godly. Not that I can't hang out with people that are not believers. I think it's a calling that we should, witness to them. But I believe in my deepest friendships, I was challenged to have godly women in my life. So guys, godly men, women, godly women, I think that we need to really respect that. So with that, these friends of mine never guarded me from every mistake or failure. No one can, but they played a massive role in helping me mature. And they helped me mature as a woman, as a godly woman, and someone who wants to be a great wife for my husband. So is it the last one? It is the last one. Joyful, courageous accountability. My golden rule in dating is warm but unpopular invitation to accountability. To truly and consistently bear each other's burdens in the pursuit of marriage, Galatians 6:2. Maybe that term accountability has dried out and gone stale in your life, but to be accountable is to be authentic. I can't say the word tonight. Authentic. You know what I'm trying to say. Sorry about that. But you want to be authentic to people, deeply, consistently known by someone who cares enough to keep us from making mistakes or indulging in sin. Only people who love Christ more than they love you will have the courage to tell you that you're wrong when you're dating the wrong person, wrong about timing, wrong about whatever. Only they will be willing to say something hard, even when you're so happily Twitter-pated, is what I'm going to say. Most people will float along with you because they're excited for you. How many times have you been excited for somebody because they met someone and only to find out it was horrible? And then you're like, oh my gosh, why did I encourage them to continue that relationship? It was awful. But you need to have someone who's going to be honest with you. Have plenty of that yourself. Let me rephrase that. Most people will float along with you because they're excited for you, but you need a lot more than excitement because you have plenty of that for yourself at the moment when you're Twitter-pated. The Bible warns us to weave all our desires, our needs, and decisions deep into a fabric of family who loves us and will help us follow Jesus. Family of God built for each of us in a local church. Hebrews 10:24-25. God has sent you, your faith, your gifts, and your experience into other believers' lives for their good, to encourage them. We urge you, brothers, admonish the idle, encourage the faint-hearted, help the weak, be patient with them all. 1 Thessalonians 5:14. To challenge and correct them, let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom. Colossians 3:16, and to build them up. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. So, as inconvenient and unnecessary, unhelpful, and even unpleasant as it may feel at times, God has sent gifted, experienced, Christ-loving men and women into your life for your good. Now, I know you guys all go to the Monday night group, and that's a great place to start. But if you're not involved at church, or you are involved at church, find a mentor. Find somebody that's a little older than you, a little wiser than you, to encourage you in these areas. I'm not just talking about dating, just life in general. It's really important. And, you never know. When you love God that much, you might be surprised at what he decides to bring your way. We all need courageous, persistent, and hopeful friends and counselors in the dangerous and murky waters of dating. Lean hard on the people who know you best, love you most, and will tell you when you're wrong. So there's kind of a theme there. People who are going to tell you the truth. So that's all I have. I'm going to open it up for a couple minutes for you guys to ask questions. And then Debbie, I'll turn it back over to you.